Hello people of the internet, yes, another poorly made movie, Mothman. One of my favorite urban legends to talk about. Don't get it confused with Mothman Prophecies, because this one is way worse by every margin. This is one of my favorite monsters to talk about, and the movie, being a TV film, is... yeah. Written by Sung Jin Lee and Patrick Walsh, who had some intentions to make it scary, but you know, this was passed on to Sheldon Wilson, who's known for the movies that was created for television, Red, Werewolf Hunter, and Carney. Classics for me. Patrick Walsh found out the movie was on DVD because the company who made the movie did not send him the movie at all. They just had an oh shit moment and they forgot to release it to him. I don't know why, but it ended up terrible. Feel bad for the guy. If it was released by Blum House today, the Mothman would have gotten better recognition. But hey, we got this. This movie had so much potential to be something special, but it turned into a complete dumpster fire. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's get to the movie and the method of this winged beast. The movie starts in West Virginia with a soul girl on a donut. Wow, a jump scare without even hesitating. Here's a group of teenagers that are going to fuck shit up later. Roll call! Derek, played by Connor Fox, the only one who has a different last name out of his siblings. His girlfriend, Catherine, the type of person who's gonna miss the fan group after high school, but forgets them years later. Richard, played by T.W. Leishman, I think that's how you say his last name. You can find him in Fallout 4 as Paul. You know, the guy whose wife that's been sitting there in the bar at Diamond City. His girlfriend, Sally, who appeared in better horror movies, Phase 2 to be exact. Casey, played by Maddie Fernando. I'm butchering these names so hard, who's in many horror movies and TV shows as minor characters. And his girlfriend, Mindy, an athlete to successful actress in the TV show Jessica Jones as Pam. No, I'm not simping for her, that's her bio. Jared, an actor that I can't find much information. And Jamie, an uncredited kid actor. Night starts to settle in, having a good laugh and a couple of beers. Jared had an idea of teaching his little bro a lesson for coming along. Although Jared is supposed to be babysitting because Jamie's a minor. Now the juicy bits begins with the Mothman. To prove that Jamie is not a baby, they head into the river that supposed Mothman uses as a route. The Brodacious teens takes turns pranking Jamie by pulling his leg. After all of them take a pull, Jamie's body ended up away from the scene. I'm very pissed off with the group, like what were going through their heads during that. Is he alive?
I told him not to come. I told him not to come.
You were babysitting. There's nothing you could do.
Jamie wouldn't want us to give up all of our lives, our futures over an accident?
Okay, you just sound like a complete dick. Like, for fuck's sake, dude. The group came to a decision to bash his head with a rock by saying he hit his head. So if Jamie was alive because he moved during that scene, they actually killed the kid when they were hitting his head with a rock. A prank just backfired on itself. To mention, why didn't they say it was unintentional drowning? Even the CDC website states 1 out of 5 people die from unintentional drowning around the ages of 14 or younger. 10 years later, Catherine is now a reporter for the Washington Weekly. The boss was coincidentally sitting there for the rising action of the movie to write about the Mothman Festival, which is a real-life festival that is celebrated on the 2nd to 3rd week of September. But the pandemic happened and this year's event is canceled. But for next year, it'll be the 20th anniversary of the Mothman. I seriously want to pack my bags and head over there. Catherine makes her way to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and runs into Derek. If I'm correct, she was driving on the Silver Memorial Bridge into Point Pleasant. The only Washington that would make sense is the one in West Virginia. DC does not require you to go on the bridge or the state because who would drive that far for a report?
Can't believe you're back. I heard you were an actress or something.
No. No, I'm a reporter.
A reporter? That's great. I mean, you look.
Simp level high.
They get to talking about the old crew because it's the anniversary of Jamie's death. R.I.P. Jamie.
Well, you know, we get together once a year, and we have drinks in his memory, and I just thought it'd be nice if you would.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize. Of course I'll be there. Okay.
Okay, well, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to you.
Bye.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah, at 8. All right.
Oh, you pulled a Mordecai.
Before Catherine meets up with the group at Richard's and Sally's bar, the crew is mixed on her arrival to Point Pleasant.
We all dealt with it in our own way.
Yeah, she dealt with it by leaving.
leaving us here to deal with the mess.
I mean, you could have left like her. Idiots. Catherine makes her introduction well.
Well, you all look great.
Wow. You always were a terrible liar.
But they had a few drinks instead. Jared is not liking her arrival because something was on the table.
It's been a long time.
And it was just nothing. He leaves the group early to his trailer home, packing up. Then the monster arrives, wanting to know what he's doing. He escapes the monster to catch his breath, only thinking he's safe. He dead. One of the coolest looking monsters for a TV movie. Catherine checks on Jared for that history lesson, but how the fuck did the simp get there? He invites her for breakfast, which is popcorn at the festival. Catherine is doing the interviewing on the Mothman.
Around here for a long, long time's hands with more blood from the dirty sinners. You two could be next.
Can we just hang around with this boomer? Actually, the movie throws in another boomer, important to the plot. This is Frank, a survivor from the Mothman attack. He goes down the history of the Mothman and tells a story about two cops pulling a prank on an inmate by dropping snakes by not checking if one of them is venomous.
It's determined whether or not any of those snakes were poisonous.
Yes, I said venomous, because this movie is poisonous. Get your facts straight. Back to Sally and Richard's bar with a busy night, only Sally working and Richard leaving a suicide note. That's honestly a heavy topic to talk about. Okay, I'm just gonna cut the music and everything, and gonna be serious with you guys. So, yeah, I have a script I wrote about what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna not read it and give you what I'm about to say. I just hit my mic. Well, so if you're suffering from alcoholism or depression, just to tell you this, you're not alone. Like, it's important to tell your family members or friends how you're feeling. I've been through a depressional state, and it was ass to tell you this. It's not a good idea to hold it in and say it's gonna get better. If you just hold it in, it's just gonna get worse for you. As for alcohol, I'm definitely not gonna drink. I'm not gonna take any alcohol. I'm actually not, because what happened to my father just really messed him up, and I just don't want to go down that route like him. Man, I'm about to tear up, actually. Don't tear up now. I don't want to cry on camera. It's a good idea to tell your family members how you're feeling. I told my uncle about it, and it kind of got better. Then I told my family, and my life just changed around like that. So if you're not available to reach a friend or a family member how you're feeling, call the suicide hotline. I know it's not the best option, but it's better than nothing than sit alone and stay quiet about it. If you're going through alcohol, just don't abuse it. Just have it in your spare time for fun, but don't take it as a way to escape your problems. Back to the movie and the rest. The reason why Richard is doing that is because he did not accept Jamie's death. He finds a way to cope it is with alcohol, which is never good reasoning to escape your problems. In the end, he rejects the idea before the Mothman comes to ruin that wish. The alarm of gunshots go off, getting everybody into a panic. After killing off Richard, the Mothman goes for Sally, but Sally ends up escaping. The rest of the crew went and acknowledged that Richard's death is a suicide till the purpose of the plot. That's when Catherine gets an idea about it, who it might be. To be honest, I hate situational irony. Sally dies, but I'm not gonna show it because her character doesn't mean much to the story. Catherine meets the old man at his home, nearly blowing her head off with a shotgun.
Don't shoot! It's Catherine Grant from the Washington Weekly. We met at the festival?
She goes inside, seeing CGI for purposes too soon. Everything else is grotesque. Old Man Franks explains the history of why there are no Native Americans on the land and other history.
The land Point Pleasant is sitting on right now is the only land in North America never to have been occupied by Indians.
When he said that, I was curious why, so I did some research and found out Cornstarch tribe, the Shawnee, were in the area to hunt, and the land was owned by the Iroquois before the 1768 Treaty of Fort Stanwix. I'm seriously butchering these names, which allowed settlers to expand even further. Cornstalk opposed to this expansion, which led to some events then to the Battle of Point Pleasant, where the natives were defeated by the Virginian settlers. This set some boundaries with the Virginians and the natives. As for Cornstalk, though, he died at Fort Randolph by an ambush. His body was transported to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The legend goes that Cornstalk actually summoned the creature as a way to get revenge. Another was misfortune on the land, even to the point it's a hotspot for creatures, that the place has a dimensional rift. I forgot where I got that information, so do your own research if you like. Catherine explores the house for plot purposes. She got back to her motel and oh shit, Mothman coming out of the TV. Only when the true scent saved the queen. We meet Casey and Mindy at Mindy's salon before Derek destroys the mirrors in her business. Derek explains what we know, but Casey did not take it too kindly.
We have to break it.
Casey, stop it!
After Derek took Casey's truck, he came to the realization that Mindy does not care for her friends.
Don't do that.
Well, why the hell not? Who's gonna pay for all this, huh?
You know what? Derek's right. You care more about your stuff than you do our friends.
I mean, it's her business. It's a way for her to make money, so... Casey goes on his own to find the crew. Catherine goes back to Frank's for advice. Frank explains that Mothman goes for people who murdered in Point Pleasant.
The Mothman will only attempt to enter our world for one reason: to bring justice.
Frank killed a boy while drunk driving as a teen. The only way for him to get out of it is blinding himself. Mothman can't see you. You can't see Mothman. Frank says there's only one way for Mothman to stop till he gets justice. So they're pretty much fucked. Casey went to Jared's trailer home to find nothing but a shotgun and Mothman. He escapes from Mothman's grasp. He told Mindy to get the fuck away from reflected surfaces, but she dead. Catherine and Frank meet again. Catherine was the one who started the killing spree of Mothman. For returning, Frank explains a way to kill Mothman after explaining a story of an actual disaster. The people prior to them were on their way to kill the Mothman, but the Mothman decides to kill the people and began the fall of the Silver Bridge. A tiny crack causes this in real life. They get the dagger from Frank that is made out of the bone from the native chief, which is Cornstalk. The remaining crew visits the old plant to start the ritual. Casey was hesitant to do it, but he did it anyway. All three of them did it, so what happened? Well, they summoned the motherfucker. Derek and Catherine were cornered, but the Chad Chasey helped them escape. What a Chad. They all escaped. Okay. Don't worry, the Chad never dies. They meet back with the old man Frank. By helping them, they went downstairs and Frank trapped them and knew about Jamie. How do you know about Jamie? It was a setup. Another flashback. The mayor's son killed Frank's brother in a car crash and pinned it on Frank for the murder. Frank leaves them to die by the hands of the Mothman and see the shit that's going to happen at Point Pleasant. They escape somehow, and I told you the Chad never dies.
Catherine?
Casey!
We thought you were dead. Yeah, so did I.
Even the Chad doesn't even know it either. Heading over to the festival with the mayor giving an address.
And I want you to just remember, keep watching the sky.
Oh shit, an entrance. Frank goes full dictator saying his manifesto while the others are trying to stop the Mothman, but guns won't work on him.
They piled.
Damn it, Chad, why would he go inside the back of the police car? By the way, Mothman hates Frank's manifesto, killing him. Mothman is still fucking everything up. With no hope in sight, this might be the end.
I'll drive you all the way to hell, you son of a...
Okay, I take that back. He is full on Chad.
Come get me! Come on!
I did not know a Chad could die. Catherine just had a "can I see your manager" moment, killing the beast by a fire explosion. Oh shit, it's still up. Like, what the hell? Mothman took Catherine in a place that is not far because the sim tries to save the queen. Only a little moth knows that Catherine places the blade on her chest and stabs the Mothman, killing him on the spot and turning into CGI moths. Wow. In the hospital, the simp becomes king. Before an unknown reasons, she became the next moth.
Derek?
Stay away from me.
Another sequel that was scrapped. Rewatching that movie gave me so much disappointment. I love the concept of the creature, but they went in circles forcing the movie, saying, look at this original idea, but they just focused on way too much on the story itself. Like, the characters felt empty with no purpose. I even cut some deaths out just to save myself some time, and their actions were pretty stupid to tell all of that. The only character I liked was Casey, because he was like the supportive one later on, then he just died off like for no reason. But it's a TV movie like the rest. Now let's see the motives of the Mothman and the story of this guy. If we tie this with the real-life Mothman and some counterparts from the movie, the Mothman was summoned to get revenge from Cornstalk. He likes to terrorize the victims, like going through the reflected surfaces till it's time to kill. In real life, Mothman is a warning sign for the people of Point Pleasant that disaster will happen within like a few days or so. An example is the Silver Bridge. The earliest sighting was November 12, 1966. 5 men were digging a grave, claimed to see the figure from the trees. 3 days later, a couple saw the figure as well, but in detail, a large man with 10-foot wings. Some disappearances like domestic pets. The location of the Mothman is unknown. Some claim it lives in the old military storage site in the TNT area, or in the North Power Plant like they said in the movie. West Virginia is a massive hotspot for out-of-ordinary events. Lightning struck twice on a building. The Men in Black, since of the new sightings of Mothman, and UFO activity. As for the Mothman in the movie, it was summoned by Cornstalk for its real-life counterpart. We don't know why it's here. With the UFO sightings, the Mothman might be an alien that was left behind on Earth for 13 months. In the movie, the Mothman is a creature that travels through dimensions. The only way he could get to people is by using reflected surfaces before the ritual that brought him into the world. I sort of saw that coming miles away. The beast stands around 6'6". For international people, that's 200 meters, with an ability to fly, and his physical is an advantage and resistance to pain, because he took those bullets like a champ from the Chad. I consider the mirror thing as a teleportation. The only way to defeat the creature is stabbing him with the bone of Cornstalk, which those are limited, so he's pretty much undefeatable. If that happens, he transfers his soul to somebody else. Can't say anything about that. Welcome to the end card. Yes, I brought in a new family member, the microphone. There's some things I made in the video that are unjustifiable for me. Like, for example, I was going way too fast when I was talking about the movie. I should have slowed down a bit or expand a little on the video and the movie. And to mention that the somewhat awful review I made, it was a bit rushed for me to say. I could have explained the characters quite well. I enjoyed Casey the most because he had the more character growth out of the group. Mindy, Sally, Richard, they were completely bland. Because I'm assuming they were trying to make alcohol funny with Richard's part, but the whole suicide note thing kind of gave off like a really bad vibe if you laughed earlier in the movie. And Sally, she didn't contribute as much. She just sat there like the rest. Mindy, she was like, to say the like an ideal person running her own business, and so, but they didn't really talk about her character much. Catherine, pretty bland, nothing much. Derek, he's a complete Mordecai. I'm changing the word Mordecai instead of simp, because simp did not turn out as well compared to Mordecai. I found Mordecai a lot more funnier than simp. And to say that the whole talk with depression, that was honestly, I honestly was about to cry during that. I can't believe it. And I noticed that many people aren't subscribed to me because yes, I am indeed a small channel, but you should subscribe if you liked seeing this or something like this. I am a huge fan of Dead Meat and FoundFlix. I really love their movie talks and that. And I hope I can spark something new out of somebody. I'm making these for fun. And I seriously want to continue this probably for a while. Subscribe to me, please. I hit my mic again. Subscribe to me, please, if you enjoy any of this. Check out my medias if you like. I'm not forcing anybody, so I can't stop hitting my microphone. Well, anyway, peace. Like my stuff, I guess.